Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So this video is going to be a Sunday review, just looking at a few horses that are interesting going forward, and just having a quick look at some of the other races that were also on the card. And we'll start off with the Morgana Hurdle at Punchestown, which top-rated Sharjah won, Zanahiyr was second, and Echoes in Rain was third. Now, before the race, Echoes in Rain had been touted as probably the most likely to challenge Honeysuckle going forward. I think the fact that they thought Sharjah had been there, done that, and been beaten, and wasn't going to challenge Honeysuckle, and he's still not. Echoes in Rain finishing third suggested he's not going to either, and nor is Zanahiyr. Best horse won the race. Second best horse was second, and third best horse was third. So it was although it was a grade one, it was a bit of a boring grade one, and didn't excite me at all for the future for any of those. Sharjah will continue to win grade ones until he comes up against Honeysuckle. One race at Punchestown that did catch my eye that was very interesting was this Potemps qualifier over just shy of 3 miles. Now obviously this is a qualifier for the final itself at the Cheltenham Festival, and there was a couple in here that I thought was very interesting, and there's actually 3 that I want to take out of this race. The first one was the horse who finished second, Dallas de Picton. I thought Davy Russell gave it either a confident or he was trying to be as patient as possible because he didn't want to win the race. It's a qualifier, remember. If you win this, you're going to ruin your chance probably for the final itself, especially as he was already quite high in the weights. Dallas de Picton's is interesting for the final itself because he's finished second and fifth in Martin Pipe handicap hurdles, I think 3 years ago and last year at Dallas de Picton. So that's why he's interesting. I think they were trying to look after him in this race. He's actually gone up £3 for that, which I'm sure they were a bit frustrated with, either win the race or don't get close enough to go up in the weights. But if he does turn up at Cheltenham, keep an eye on his next few runs to see if they get him to drop a little bit. You know, if they drop him back those £3 over his next couple of runs and then turns up at the festival, he's obviously very interesting as he does have that Cheltenham form. The second horse I thought was interesting here was Volcano, who finished 6th. He's clearly lightly raced, this one right down here, RTR 12. He's a lightly raced horse. You can see, unlike Dallas de Picton, who traded at 86.2% shorter in the run, Volcano would never got involved. 29.03, never got involved. Started off with some good R figures, has dropped away a little bit. The reason I'm interested in him is he's now qualified, he finished 6th, but also he was owned by the same people who owned the Boss's Oscar at the Morans. Now they got it wrong last year with the Boss's Oscar. I think he turned up at the Cheltenham Festival £8 or £10 higher than the beginning of the season, having finished second, I think, 3 times. This time with Volcano, they've got him qualified, they got him in 6th. Now they can go and find something if they need to win to get his handicap mark high enough to get in, and then they can look after him with the final in mind, which they didn't really do, or they didn't do a very good job with the Boss's Oscar at all last year. You can imagine if he was £8 or £10 lower come the Cheltenham Festival, the Boss's Oscar probably would have beaten Mrs. Milner. So just keep an eye on Volcano, see what they do with him. If he turns up, if he turns up at the Cheltenham Festival at the end of the season and he's got a couple of pulled ups, or he's got an 8th and a pulled up or something like that, but he's in, just be careful of him. He could be one that they've plotted with this race, the Cheltenham Festival Potemps final in mind. The other horse I want to talk about is this one up at the top, Mars Harper, finished 5th, and you can see traded 93.39% lower in the run, traded at 2.52, so 6-4 in the run. That was because turning in looked like it was going to go very, very close. Just got tired at the finish. Why is it interesting? I don't think Mars Harper is one for the Potemps final. I think it may find that it gets tired again at the finish. But watch out for that one when dropped back slightly in trip. I think this might have been its first step up. Let's just have a look. 2 mile 3 at Cheltenham, 2 mile 2, 2 mile 6 at Killarney and finished 3rd, 2 mile 5. That's the sort of trip I think Mars Harper could be very good at. Drop it back to 2 mile 5, and I think there's a handicap win for Mrs. Harper. both Volcano and Mars Harper, sorry, both Volcano and Mars Harper did not have their handicap marks adjusted after these 5th and 6th placed efforts. So they're two to take out the race as well. And moving on, we go to Cheltenham. 3 under through 5 was a good winner of the novice chase. Obviously, Oscar Elite did fall when travelling really well, was actually 1-2 or 2-1 on in running. Delighted that 3 under through 5 won. That's the McNeil's. That was the second McNeil top rated winner in 2 days, and they added another one today. Timeless Beauty, I think it was, that won today for them. I'd love to see more of the McNeil family's horses being aimed at races where they're top rated. Another race that was interesting was obviously the Schlur Chase. Nube Negra won it, beating Politologue, Put the Kettle On, and Rouge Vif. Rouge Vif is a handicapper, and whilst Put the Kettle On and Politologue are the last 2 winners of the champion chase, I think they've won poor champion chases. I don't think either of them are what I call proper champion chase horses, despite having won them. I know that sounds really harsh, especially potentially on Put the Kettle On, now an ARCA winner and a champion chase winner. I don't rate them as top class grade 1 2-milers. I don't think Nube Negra will have any won't get close to Shishkin yet. Although Nube Negra can beat these, Shishkin is a completely different level in my opinion. Moving on, I did actually highlight the Schlur Chase. Moving on, the final race I want to talk about is the Greatwood Hurdle. Now, as you can see, 6 of the top 6 of the top 7 were from the top 7 in the ratings. So the race has worked out well, basically. The right horses have been at the front, and the right horses have been involved in the finish. Adagio traded 1.16 of the top rated, which was a great effort, but it was a brilliant training performance from Dan Skelton to get West Cork to win after over 600 days off the track. Going forward, there's one horse I want to give one more go. And you're all going to hate me for this because you're going to go, oh, he's lost it completely. He hasn't lost it completely. He jumped to the first. I'll tell you who it is. It's Ballyandy again. He jumped the first slow. He went up instead of forward, and he then dropped back and was then out of it. But these numbers, they're not that long ago that he was running these really high, impressive R figures. And he just wants softer going. He can't go the gallop on good going over 2 mile. As soon as it goes 2 mile on soft, I'll be very, very interested in Ballyandy again. We don't know what he's dropped yet because it was run on Sunday. I'm expecting him to drop £3-4 for that, potentially even 5 again. If he drops another 5 and soft ground 2 mile 2 sort of thing, maybe even, I'll be very, very interested in Ballyandy next time. I'm not giving up on him. He jumped the first too big. He dropped into a position that he didn't want to be, and Sam just gave up very, very quickly on him. He just doesn't have the speed for 2 mile on good ground anymore. So that was a relatively quick one, 8 minutes 25 by the time I finished this sentence. A few horses to keep an eye out for. I don't think Nube Negra will beat Shishkin. I'm interested to see where they go with Volcano, and Mars Harper will be one that I'd like to see dropped in trip. So there's some thoughts from Sunday. There's a few more videos that I'm going to be recording tonight, so keep an eye out for them as well.